Hey guys, I've got a very short game to share with you in this video. As you may know, I've been playing recently and having a lot of fun with the Vienna Gambit. And sometimes with these Gambit lines you can get very, very quick victories. And this game actually is over in 8 moves. But I think in my experience so far, almost every time, this opening seems to produce some crazy, sharp, aggressive, dangerous kinds of games. So it's just a whole heap of fun. But anyway, just enjoy this. So the Vienna Gambit starts with e4, e5. Okay, so far so normal. And then instead of the normal, say, knight to f3 that you might play, you play knight to c3 instead. And so this is the Vienna game, right, with knight to c3 on the second move. And it looks kind of innocuous. And the natural response from black, and the one that you're really looking for, is knight to f6. Because when knight to f6 is played, you play then f4, and that's the Vienna Gambit. Okay? So the idea of a gambit is that you offer up material which it takes your opponent one move to accept. So they are spending one move, so in this case move 3, not developing their pieces. And what that does is it gives you an advantage in development, particularly if you're white, and a lot of gambits are played as white, obviously. So in addition to having the initiative at the start of the game, because white gets the first move, black has also now used one move. So in this instance, we have e takes f4, and this is the gambit accepted line. In general, if you find yourself in a position where your opponent appears to be offering you a free pawn, or even more, and you aren't familiar with it, I would recommend the safest course of action is don't take the pawn, okay? As my opponent here figures out, and he's a high-rated player, in my book anyway. So he accepts the pawn, and then the awesome next move is e5. And if you figure it out, the knight can't go to either of those two squares because of white's knight, right? And can't go to either of those two squares because of the queen. The queen is covering that diagonal, okay? And this is it, you know, the d-pawn's still in place. Black's pieces can do nothing about this. So the best move probably is to retreat the knight to g8. But a lot of people don't want to do that because that's just giving up, it's just rewinding the only decent move that you've made so far in the game. So what you might see, and what my opponent played in this instance, is queen to d7. And queen to d7 is not brilliant, it has to be said, okay? So the correct response here is queen to d2. So you place the queen in opposition to the black queen, and clearly still the threat is that you're going to take the knight anyway. You might swap off queens, you might even go off and take the g-pawn as well. So in this case, indeed, the black knight does end up going all the way back to g8 anyway. So now we've got a situation where I've got two central pawns. I've got one knight developed, which black doesn't because he's brought his out, and now to send it all the way back to the start, he's slipped down a snake on that one. And his e-pawn has found its way onto the f-file, so he's got duplicated double pawns on the f-file. But it gets worse, because so I had to think through the situation, and I realised that the best move, and this is the best move in analysis, oh no, that's not the best move yet. So I played d4 to protect my pawn. I guess I could have played my next move in that turn as well. And now black plays f6, and now the killer move, knight to d5. Alright, knight to d5, I'm hitting the queen, and I'm also hitting the pawn on c7. Right? Now the best move here, again, queen to d8. So black's ending up putting all his pieces right back on in their starting positions. It's absolutely awful. So queen would go there, and then my bishop can come out and regain the pawn that I've lost. And black here has absolutely nothing. An alternative would be maybe queen there, pawn takes with check, with a discovered check. So then I'm going to go ahead and grab the other pawn. It's an absolutely horrible bind that black is in here. Okay, so the queen should go back. Instead, black plays queen to e6, and you can probably, if you take a moment, you can spot the next move. Knight takes c7 with a three-way fork on the rook, the king, and the queen. And at that point, black resigns. So that is how you want the Vienna Gambit to go. I mean, that is extremely satisfying, and you almost want to apologise to your opponent when something like that happens. But them's the rules. You know, that's how it works. That's the rub of the green. Sometimes you get the advantage of an opening like this, and sometimes you get bitten by one. So there you go. Lots and lots of fun in the Vienna Gambit. I'm just going to keep playing with it because it's you get a good game every time, whatever you do. So there you go. Very quick game. Just wanted to share it with you. See you later.